News trends for this week. With me in studio, Neo Motloung from our multimedia news team. Neo, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure, Natasha.
All right, so let's start with a big story we had yesterday, that of Bongi Nkosi Kanyile being released from prison.
I mean, this story has been going on for months now. I mean, we know Fees Must Fall was one of the biggest hashtags that we experienced last year. And when we started yesterday looking at the story itself, like checking it down, we saw that people in the morning were already talking about it. I mean, if they can show us the graph, you would see in the morning it reached about 1.3 million unique accounts on Twitter. Those are just people who received the hashtag. And when you also look at it, it's 1.5 impressions, people who were really like the timelines where it landed. And when you look at the map, the trends map, where actually everything has been happening, you would see that it's not only in South Africa, but also internationally. As you can see, there's a map here. But this hashtag was Free Bongi Nkosi, which started during the whole trial period. So it shows the engagement of this topic. I mean, it's even trending in I think it's Manchester when I checked, and some European country by Belgorod or whatever situation it is.
All right, are you able to gauge the sentiment of what people are saying?
Yeah, I mean, when we looked onto Twitter, this the opinions of people were saying, but mostly people were pro him being released.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 6 months, and he was the only Fees Must Fall leader who was still in jail, and people were really saying, why is this guy still, arrested? I mean, when Dlamini and the others were out for such a long time.
Yeah. All right, another big story that we had this week was yesterday's roof collapse at the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital.
That was one of the big stories that we got yesterday on social media. And the discourse, basically, Natasha, was that the Gauteng provincial government has experienced so much bad luck in the last 6 months. I mean, we started with Life Esidimeni, where people were actually talking about the health situation in South Africa. If we look at the stats, I mean, it reached 800 unique accounts on Twitter, which means people were engaging with it. But that is just from today, and that was just within 6 minutes of the topic being on social media. But if you look at the topic since yesterday, it has more impressions than today's topic. But it's big, and we've covered it very well, I think, on SABC.
Yeah. Okay, another issue that's been doing the rounds, and we've just seen President Zuma speaking again about this land redistribution issue. We've got here this topic, land debate. Tell us a bit more about that.
We also ran a poll that morning that was asking people about the land debate. You can't see clearly on the stats, but on the screen. But one of the question we asked is: the National Assembly is debating the changing constitution to allow land exploitation without compensation. What are your thoughts under the hashtag land debate? And we had about 56% saying yes, take the land, and we had 11% saying absolutely not, and 13% saying in some case yes, but 20% of those said who will work this land. And I think that is one of the big discourse that has been coming out, that the land has been given to people, but there isn't really work being done to the land. I was listening to SAFM where President Jacob Zuma was talking about this two Zimbabwean men who took a land from a farmer and used. But the whole discourse about that was that the attitude that black South Africans have towards the land. So I think that's why 20% of these people are saying who will work the land. And some people were also talking about, if we work the land, who will the government give us support? I mean, there's been so many case studies from KZN to some parts of the Eastern Cape where people have been given the land, but they're crying about government support towards that.
And Twitter is such a good platform for conversations like this to happen.
Twitter is a great platform. I mean, we are entering an age where people are taking that discourse into a virtual reality, and Twitter works very perfectly as that.
Yeah. Okay, another big question that's been on everybody's Twitter feed is the reaction to SASSA not being ready to take over the distribution of social grants from April.
Yeah, this is one issue also that has been running for a long period of time, where we've been asking people what is going to happen. But as you can look at the screen right now, this is the engagement that the topic reached on Twitter, about 800,000 accounts, and that was just within 26 minutes this morning, where people are really engaging with the topic. But if you can look at the accounts that were reached and the impressions that were got, the accounts was 800, the impressions were about 1 million. So it shows that it landed on so many people's timelines, and they're really discoursing about this issue.
All right, now thanks so much. We'll have to leave
Thank
it
you so
there, but I
much.
think this one will keep going, especially as
Yes.
we get closer
It's a
to
big-
that
it's a
deadline.
big-
It's a big story, yeah.
Yes.
Now, thanks so much, Neo Motloung, with us on a Friday going through some of our social media topics. All right, well, recapping one of our top stories, let's get more on yesterday's roof collapse at the